May the 10th, 2023, 2:14 in the morning. Deep beneath the dazzling lights of the Bellagio casino in Las Vegas, a security guard sweeps his heavy flashlight across a narrow concrete vault corridor. Michael Brennan freezes in the freezing shadows. For 21 years, he has been nothing but a ghost fixing slot machines and patching frayed cables. Now, a single unexpected question could destroy the greatest heist in modern history. Two heavy briefcases rest silently at his trembling feet. Inside those ordinary-looking bags sits $25 million in high-denomination casino chips. One wrong word or a single nervous twitch, and it will all be completely over. Upstairs, oblivious tourists watch roulette wheels spin, while expensive champagne flows like water. Down here, in the quiet mechanical heart of the most secure casino in America, a breach is seconds away. The guard steps closer with the beam of light dancing just inches from the hidden briefcases. Brennan holds his breath while calculating every possible outcome in fractions of a second. This is not a sudden crime of passion or a desperate grab for cash. This is the culmination of decades of silent observation and meticulous planning. To understand how a solitary technician brought a billion-dollar fortress to its knees, we must look back. February 17, 1976, in Dayton, Ohio. Michael Brennan is born into a bleak world, surrounded by broken machinery and neglected electronics. By age 12, he can effortlessly disassemble a complicated radio while completely blindfolded. By 16, he is independently fixing security systems for various local businesses. He learns exactly how every mechanical lock, electronic sensor, and surveillance camera works. More importantly, he learns exactly how and why they inevitably fail. After finishing high school, Brennan drifts aimlessly between low-paying electronics repair jobs. During this time, he develops an almost supernatural ability to see complex patterns that normal people completely miss. He views the entire world as a giant circuit board waiting to be rewired. In 2001, at 25 years old, he sees a simple newspaper job posting that will alter the trajectory of his entire life. The advertisement calls for a slot machine technician at the prestigious Bellagio Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. For someone who understands intricate machines, exactly like Brennan does, this is not just a job offer. It is an exclusive invitation to study the most sophisticated private security system in the entire world. He packs his meager belongings and drives into the scorching Nevada desert with a mind full of mechanical possibilities. March 15, 2002, marks his first official day at the Bellagio Casino. For the next 21 long years, Brennan quietly fixes jammed slot machines, patches complex data networks, and moves entirely unseen. He becomes universally known among the casino staff as Machine Mike. He is quiet, completely invisible, and entirely forgettable to the wealthy executives upstairs. He is merely another replaceable cog in a massive money-making machine. But while management ignores his existence, Brennan never stops watching them. As he watches hundreds of millions of dollars flow continuously through the glittering casino floor, he secretly maps its hidden flaws. He identifies dangerous blind spots in the vast surveillance network. He spots glaring vulnerabilities in the daily cash flow procedures. He discovers fatal weaknesses, buried deep beneath countless layers of modern technological complexity. He memorizes the rhythm of the beast. The turning point finally arrives in 2021. Following corporate layoffs and the implementation of much tighter operational controls, the working environment becomes increasingly toxic. The casino demands more hours and offers less respect to its veteran technical staff. Decades of unrewarded loyalty rapidly curdle into a deep and bitter resentment. Brennan realizes the casino views him as entirely worthless despite his absolute mastery of their internal electronic systems. Armed with a significantly deeper understanding of the Bellagio infrastructure than anyone else alive, Michael Brennan begins to plan his revenge. He does not want to merely rob the casino using brute force or armed violence. He wants to systematically dismantle their arrogant sense of total invulnerability. He intends to use their own highly touted security protocols directly against them in a magnificent display of pure intellectual dominance. By March 2021, inside his modest Las Vegas apartment, the first critical phase of preparation officially begins. Brennan starts with exhaustive surveillance mapping of the massive gaming floor. He meticulously documents hundreds of camera angles and records endless hours of normal operational footage. He identifies the exact digital sequences he will ultimately need to create totally convincing video loops. He builds his own private database of the enemy. Using his authorized daily maintenance access, he discreetly installs tiny micro cameras in several highly restricted key locations. he slowly builds a massive library of authentic high-resolution surveillance footage. This stolen video data will eventually be weaponized to effectively mask all future illegal activities. He understands that the camera system is designed to catch external thieves. It is completely blind to a trusted internal technician manipulating the feeds from within. Simultaneously, he begins establishing the intricate financial shell companies and complex false identities required for the heist. These entities will be absolutely essential for managing the massive financial aspects of the upcoming operation. Nevada Gaming Equipment Services is officially incorporated in September 2021. The fake company even secures legitimate service contracts for minor casino maintenance work. This brilliant move gives the fake company immediate credibility. This clever corporate facade establishes a solid paper trail of perfectly normal business operations. Over this exact same period, Brennan creates multiple fictional gambling accounts equipped with highly realistic financial loss patterns. He is slowly building the necessary digital credibility needed for a devastating rebate cascade scheme. The casino computers are already learning to trust the fake digital entities that will soon drain their vaults completely dry. October 2022. The sprawling neon metropolis of Las Vegas hides countless broken dreams. After 18 grueling months of solitary preparation, the crucial recruitment phase finally begins. Brennan knows a solitary ghost cannot physically move hundreds of millions of dollars. He seeks angry insiders who intimately understand massive system vulnerabilities. Lacey Voss is his very first strategic recruit. She is a former blackjack dealer, wrongfully terminated for supposed attitude problems, who knows strict chip authentication. Felix Guerrero manages a small, struggling printing business, specializing in commercial security badges. He owes Brennan a massive personal favor from years earlier when Brennan erased his son's juvenile record. Guerrero brings absolute technical forgery expertise to the growing criminal team. Janet Cole represents the most critical inside contact. Working as a dedicated main cage cashier, she has grown deeply resentful, watching younger, inexperienced employees constantly receive lucrative promotions, while she remains hopelessly stuck counting cash. The final puzzle piece is a desperate surveillance technician named Owen Trask. A devastating secret gambling addiction has left him drowning in massive, unmanageable debt. Brennan offers the desperate young man a permanent way out of Las Vegas completely. April 30th, 2023 brings the final operational briefing inside the sparse apartment Brennan rents. Detailed architectural maps of the massive casino completely cover every single wall, marked with precise maintenance schedules and overlapping camera angles. The beauty of this custom system, Brennan confidently explains, is that every single moving part perfectly supports every other part. When the overwhelmed security team is desperately focused on a massive slot machine malfunction, they will completely miss a massive chip discrepancy. When they finally investigate the counterfeit chip problems, the manipulated surveillance footage will intentionally show them exactly what we desperately want them to see. The entire operation will steadily unfold over 5 days. May 8, 2023 brings a buzzing casino floor filled with typical nighttime energy. Brennan casually arrives for his scheduled shift, carrying the exact same battered metal toolbox he has dutifully used for 20 years. Tonight, however, the dirty box contains vastly more than simple screwdrivers. Hidden perfectly beneath a clever false bottom sits a highly advanced custom-designed microprocessing chip. This tiny homemade device is brilliantly programmed to create massive cascading electronic failures. The destructive device must be physically installed directly inside the main server hub, located on the highly restricted third basement level. At exactly 11:47 at night, Brennan confidently descends using his authorized employee keycard. The long concrete corridors are dimly lit and completely filled with the deafening constant hum of massive industrial air conditioning units. Fortunately, Brennan has been officially authorized to access this specific room hundreds of times for completely routine system maintenance. Inside the freezing server room, massive walls of frantically blinking lights stretch endlessly from the cold floor to the high ceiling. Brennan quickly locates the primary slot management hub and smoothly opens the main access panel. He expertly installs the tiny, dangerous microprocessor directly between two massive existing circuit boards, securely connecting the tiny wire leads. Suddenly, a sharp voice shatters the tense silence, demanding to know what the hell he is doing down here. Behind him stands a stern security guard named Dale Richter, making an entirely unscheduled random foot patrol through the deep basement levels. Brennan feels his heart violently pounding against his ribcage, but his incredibly sharp mind frantically races for an excuse. Routine nightly network diagnostics, Brennan says casually, while smoothly closing the heavy metal server panel. He maintains absolute rock-solid, unbroken eye contact, projecting an aura of extreme annoyance and typical corporate midnight boredom. Richter angrily steps much closer, looking highly suspicious of the entire situation, since midnight diagnostics are definitely not standard operating procedure. Neither is losing 50 grand an hour to frozen casino machines that categorically refuse to take customer bets. Brennan fires back, while keeping his voice incredibly steady. You want to personally explain to Mr. Castellano why we lazily waited until morning. The sudden heavy drop of the powerful general manager name gives Richter pause. After an incredibly tense and silent moment, Richter slowly steps aside, demanding that Brennan make his work extremely quick. Brennan silently packs his heavy metal tools, gives a highly professional nod, and calmly walks directly to the waiting elevator. Only when the heavy elevator doors finally slide completely closed does Brennan allow himself to physically exhale. He leans weakly against the cold steel wall as pure adrenaline fiercely courses through his aging veins after the confrontation. At exactly 5:43 in the early morning, the tired day shift slowly begins to arrive. Suddenly, dozens of expensive slot machines across the massive casino floor begin experiencing highly random electronic malfunctions. Screens freeze, ticket printers mysteriously jam, and bright lights flash angry red error codes. By 6 in the morning, absolutely every single available casino technician is frantically troubleshooting broken gaming machines, leaving several other critical security systems temporarily understaffed and highly vulnerable. Brennan quietly clocks out at 7 in the morning as just another invisible night shift peacefully ends. The digital diversion is working perfectly, exactly as he brilliantly designed it to distract the entire management staff. Phase 1 of the master plan is now officially completely and utterly successful. The stage is perfectly set for the remaining crew members to unleash their own devastating financial attacks. The greatest casino heist in history is now fully in motion. May the 9th, 2023 brings absolute controlled chaos to the sprawling Bellagio gaming floor. Expensive slot machines continue failing in seemingly random digital patterns, forcing upper management to frantically pull skilled technicians from other important duties. Meanwhile, Lacey Voss and Felix Guerrero begin boldly introducing thousands of highly sophisticated counterfeit chips into active circulation. The meticulously planned financial extraction phase has finally commenced under the perfect cover of engineered technical confusion. The fake casino chips are absolute masterworks of criminal forgery, perfectly identical to authentic Bellagio currency. Guerrero had spent several exhausting months perfectly replicating the complex manufacturing process inside his legitimate printing business. The brilliant forger even managed to flawlessly duplicate the highly encrypted micro RFID tags embedded deep inside every high-value chip. To the naked eye, and even to the advanced casino scanners, these pieces of painted plastic are undeniably real money. At exactly 2:15 in the afternoon, Voss confidently sits down at a bustling mid-limit poker table. She casually brings $5,000 in genuine casino chips and $15,000 in perfect counterfeits. She deliberately plays highly conservative hands, occasionally losing small amounts, while smoothly replacing authentic table chips with her illegal fakes. To the watchful pit boss and overhead cameras, she appears as just another wealthy tourist, having a remarkably mediocre afternoon. At this exact same moment, Brennan begins implementing the highly critical surveillance hacking phase of the operation. Using his unrestricted daily maintenance access, he boldly enters the dark basement tunnel system underneath the main casino. He intends to discreetly install custom loop transmission devices directly into the main security data cables. These tiny illegal transmitters will effectively intercept live high-definition camera feeds, replacing them with perfectly seamless pre-recorded video footage. The dark tunnels stretching endlessly beneath the Bellagio form a massive, confusing maze of narrow service corridors and forgotten utility passages. Brennan has meticulously mapped absolutely every single inch over 2 solid decades. He easily identifies hidden routes, connecting major casino areas without ever passing through actively monitored security zones. However, as he frantically installs the third video loop device near the main cashier cage, highly sensitive infrared motion sensors suddenly detect his unexpected presence. Immediately, heavy security radios violently crackle with urgent alerts regarding unauthorized human movement inside heavily restricted underground areas. Brennan knows he has exactly 30 seconds before armed response teams rapidly descend upon his specific location. He quickly finishes the delicate wire splicing and swiftly moves deeper into the damp tunnels using a forgotten maintenance passage. Behind him, he can clearly hear heavy combat boots running and tense radio chatter as multiple security teams blindly sweep the empty area. Brennan casually emerges from the underground maze through a rusty service exit located near the massive employee parking garage. He is now perfectly disguised, wearing the dirty uniform of a generic vending machine contractor, complete with a heavy tool belt and official clipboard. Even if external security cameras catch his brief exit, they will only record a completely normal service worker finishing a routine shift. By late evening, the massive surveillance loop system becomes fully active. May the 10th brings the largest single coordinated financial movement of the entire elaborate operation. Brennan has brilliantly designed a massive rebate cascade, exploiting a fatal vulnerability hidden deep inside the lucrative customer loyalty rewards program. High-value casino players routinely receive massive cash rebates on gambling losses and extremely generous promotional credits. The brilliant mastermind has slowly created dozens of entirely fictional high-roller accounts, complete with highly realistic multi-year gambling histories. Promptly at 10 in the morning, Janet Cole begins rapidly processing massive digital rebate requests for these carefully fabricated VIP accounts. Working directly from her trusted terminal, inside the main cashier cage, she executes the massive digital theft. Each individual financial transaction appears completely legitimate in total isolation. However, functioning completely together, they steadily transfer over $80 million from massive promotional casino accounts directly into untraceable offshore banking accounts, completely controlled by Brennan. The sheer brilliance of this massive digital rebate cascade lies entirely in its absolute invisibility to normal auditors. Unlike physically stolen plastic chips or blatantly missing stacks of vault cash, these promotional rebates represent entirely expected daily financial transactions. The highly complex fictional player accounts possess completely realistic gambling patterns, painstakingly built up over many long months of simulated network activity. The massive digital cash hemorrhage raises absolutely zero automated security system alarms. At exactly 1:30 in the afternoon, Brennan deliberately triggers a massive false fire alarm deep inside the sprawling north wing. Piercing sirens violently shatter the luxurious casino atmosphere, while panicked wealthy guests frantically evacuate toward emergency exits. Amidst this carefully orchestrated chaos, the invisible technician calmly moves toward his primary physical target. He expertly bypasses a hidden maintenance panel, accessing a highly restricted emergency chip storage vault. The heavily armored secondary vault contains tens of millions in high-denomination currency chips stored inside massive automated steel dispensers. Brennan heavily relies on the emergency lockdown protocols, which temporarily disable biometric security scanners to allow rapid evacuation. Inside the freezing dark vault, he works with incredible speed, filling specially modified diagnostic briefcases with $25 million in pure plastic casino wealth. The extraction is completely flawless until heavy footsteps echo outside. A young, dedicated security guard named Caleb Yates enters the dimly lit vault area, conducting an entirely unscheduled emergency room sweep. His bright flashlight beam violently cuts through the thick shadows, desperately searching for trapped personnel. Brennan silently hides behind a massive steel chip dispenser, holding his breath while tightly gripping a heavy metal diagnostic scanner. He briefly considers remaining completely hidden, but the tight space offers absolutely zero long-term concealment. Stepping directly into the harsh flashlight beam, Brennan perfectly feigns extreme relief at seeing the young uniform. He smoothly claims his automated diagnostic equipment caused him to become totally disoriented when the loud emergency alarms suddenly triggered rolling power failures. Yates slowly lowers his radio, relaxing his tense shoulders upon recognizing the veteran technician. He genuinely believes the convincing lie until his sharp eyes spot something terribly wrong nearby. A tiny piece of torn blue fabric hangs conspicuously from the sharp edge of the automated chip dispenser, directly revealing Brennan's hiding spot. The young guard immediately demands to know the absolute truth, while his trembling hand instinctively reaches for his heavy shoulder radio. The confrontation escalates with terrifying speed as Brennan desperately lunges forward, violently knocking the communication device across the cold concrete floor. The illusion of the invisible technician violently shatters. The two men aggressively grapple in the incredibly narrow space, violently crashing into heavy steel racks and sending thousands of expensive chips scattering everywhere. Yates possesses youth and raw physical strength, but the desperate mastermind fights with the terrifying intensity of a cornered animal. Brennan ruthlessly swings the heavy metal diagnostic scanner, striking the young guard hard across the left shoulder and sending him tumbling backward into a solid concrete pillar. Yates forcefully hits his head against the unyielding stone, completely losing consciousness before his limp body hits the floor. Brennan quickly checks the steady pulse before ruthlessly securing the young man using thick plastic zip ties stolen from his battered toolbox. He aggressively shoves a dirty maintenance rag into the guard mouth, ensuring absolute silence upon awakening. He hastily gathers the spilled millions and vanishes into the dark tunnels, triggering a secondary vault lockdown. May the 11th brings intense police scrutiny as brilliant detective Nora Blackwood officially takes command of the rapidly escalating casino fraud investigation. The violent attack on Yates, combined with massive, unexplainable financial irregularities, screams of a highly sophisticated internal conspiracy. She deeply understands that flawless heists demand intimate inside knowledge and extensive patience. Blackwood immediately orders covert surveillance on dozens of key casino employees desperately hunting for the elusive hidden mastermind. Brennan perfectly anticipates this intense police pressure and coldly activates his brilliant misdirection protocol to buy his remaining crew vital time. Heavily armed police units suddenly arrest 3 low-level criminal associates, Brennan previously recruited as temporary noisy decoys. These foolish men genuinely believe they are running a pathetic $50,000 counterfeiting ring. Their dramatic arrests provide eager investigators with completely false leads, while the real mastermind prepares his next massive physical extraction. Moving massive physical assets entirely out of the heavily guarded building requires absolutely perfect logistical coordination between the remaining Phantom crew. Late in the afternoon, Brennan confidently enters the busy loading dock wearing his dirty contractor disguise and carrying forged corporate work orders. The flawless paperwork officially authorizes the immediate off-site repair of several massive broken slot machines. In reality, the massive wooden shipping crates contain $45 million in stolen casino assets. Brilliant detective Blackwood intuitively senses a hidden pattern and decides to personally observe the chaotic loading dock operations from an unmarked sedan. She sharply notices the incredibly suspicious timing correlation between massive equipment removals and severe digital financial discrepancies. She watches intensely as Brennan casually loads the heavy wooden crates into a waiting commercial truck, proudly bearing the fake company logo. Her sharp investigative instincts scream that the stolen millions are finally moving. Blackwood urgently radios for heavily armed backup and begins quietly tailing the suspect truck as it slowly leaves the glittering casino property. The tense pursuit winds through thick Las Vegas afternoon traffic, with the detective maintaining a highly cautious visual distance. Brennan continuously checks his mirrors, rapidly identifying the persistent, unmarked sedan, stubbornly following through 3 consecutive sharp turns. He immediately realizes his perfect escape route has been fatally compromised by relentless police pressure. Executing his extreme emergency contingency plan, Brennan violently swerves the heavy truck directly into the massive underground employee parking structure. He recklessly smashes through a wooden security barrier, abandoning the loaded vehicle deep inside the confusing subterranean maze of concrete pillars. He heavily accepts the devastating loss of $45 million as the absolute necessary price for maintaining his precious freedom. As sirens wail nearby, he vanishes back into his beloved hidden tunnels. Heavily armed tactical police units rapidly secure the abandoned commercial truck, discovering the massive fortune hidden inside the wooden crates. Detective Blackwood angrily stands inside the empty, echoing concrete tunnel, aiming her bright flashlight into the absolute darkness below the casino. The brilliant criminal mastermind has completely evaporated into the vast subterranean labyrinth, leaving absolutely zero physical trace. The ultimate final phase of the historic heist is now completely inevitable and completely unstoppable. May the 12th, 2023. The glittering Las Vegas Strip feels incredibly suffocating as heavy police surveillance rapidly tightens around the Bellagio. With 2 low-level associates currently sitting inside sterile interrogation rooms, Brennan knows his massive operation must conclude immediately. The brilliant mastermind prepares his final and most dangerous physical extraction. This desperate phase requires absolute precision, but offers the most staggering financial reward imaginable. The primary target is the central casino vault, containing massive stacks of physical cash reserves, securely backing high-limit gaming tables. This legendary underground fortress typically holds between $50 and $100 million in various unmarked denominations. Accessing this heavily guarded room requires multiple high-level security clearances, complex biometric authentication, and synchronized time lock systems. Brennan has spent years analyzing its specific operational vulnerabilities. He discovered that routine massive cash transfers to external armored car services temporarily create highly exploitable security windows. During these extremely brief periods, standard security protocols are significantly relaxed to allow rapid loading of heavy cash bags. Exploiting his deep administrative access, Brennan expertly manipulates the casino digital scheduling systems to insert a completely false armored car pickup. He crafts a perfectly forged emergency bank transfer request. This fraudulent digital order cleverly appears to originate directly from the primary banking partners of the massive casino corporation. Janet Cole, operating smoothly from inside the main cashier cage, efficiently processes the required digital authorization codes. Her highly trusted internal access credentials seamlessly bypass automated security software, validating the fake transfer order. The massive steel vault doors will obediently open exactly when the brilliant mastermind demands. The physical armored transport vehicle represents the absolute most complex logistical element of the entire criminal operation. Felix Guerrero spent over a year meticulously establishing deep corporate relationships with struggling local security companies. He eventually managed to quietly purchase the remaining physical assets of a completely bankrupt armored transport firm. This brilliant acquisition provides the criminal crew with legitimate heavy vehicles, authentic tactical uniforms, and flawless documentation. At exactly 2:30 in the early morning on May 13th, the heavy armored truck slowly arrives at the main Bellagio loading dock. Guerrero confidently presents forged corporate credentials, officially identifying himself as the senior armed transport supervisor. Meanwhile, Owen Trask sits nervously inside the main surveillance control room monitoring the digital feeds. He ensures the hacked camera loops flawlessly broadcast entirely normal routine nighttime operations. Deep inside the freezing central vault, Cole works rapidly alongside several temporary musclemen explicitly recruited for this final heavy lifting phase. They furiously load massive canvas bags, completely stuffed with untraceable high-denomination cash, directly into the waiting armored truck. The true genius of this final physical extraction lies in its absolutely perfect chronological execution. The massive theft occurs exactly during the chaotic daily security shift transition. By the time exhausted day shift, guards finally realize massive digital discrepancies exist, the heavy armored truck has long departed. It rolls smoothly out into the quiet Las Vegas night, carrying an unbelievable $175 million in stolen physical cash. Curiously, Michael Brennan is nowhere near the sprawling casino property during this incredibly dangerous final extraction phase. He has perfectly established an absolutely airtight physical alibi. When confused police investigators eventually review his digital employee time card records, they discover a perfectly normal work schedule. The brilliant mastermind officially clocked out at 11 the previous night and simply never returned to the massive building. The fake armored truck completely vanishes into the sprawling urban maze, following a predetermined escape route toward a massive rented warehouse. There, the staggering fortune is rapidly divided among the surviving crew. By sunrise on May 13th, exactly $280 million has been flawlessly extracted from the supposedly impenetrable casino fortress. This staggering total perfectly combines the massive digital rebate cascades, the highly sophisticated counterfeit chips, and the final armored truck extraction. Even after subtracting the millions abandoned during the tense underground chase, the remaining criminal profit is absolutely historic. The incredibly complex money trail spreads instantly across dozens of untraceable global accounts. The elite criminal team immediately scatters into the wind exactly as their brilliant mastermind originally instructed them. Unlucky accomplices Cole and Trask are violently arrested by heavily armed tactical teams within 48 hours. However, their limited internal knowledge provides absolutely no useful information regarding the ultimate location of the stolen millions. Guerrero successfully escapes across the southern border, fleeing directly into Mexico with his massive, untraceable cash share. The brilliant forger Lacey Voss disappears entirely from the face of the earth, utilizing her incredible expertise in identity manipulation. She effortlessly crafts a completely new digital existence, leaving frustrated federal investigators constantly chasing empty shadows. The entire Las Vegas law enforcement community launches a massive, desperate manhunt for the invisible casino technician. Unfortunately, they are hunting a ghost who completely anticipated their every single investigative move. The final confirmed visual sighting of Michael Brennan occurs exactly at 7:15 in the morning on May 14th. Grainy security cameras located at McCarran International Airport briefly capture a sharply dressed man, perfectly matching his physical description. He smoothly boards a long international flight, heading directly toward Istanbul carrying only a small leather bag. The official flight manifest lists the mysterious wealthy passenger as a businessman named Clayton Pierce. Federal agents later definitively determined that the travel passport was an absolute masterwork of criminal forgery, completely passing all advanced biometric security scans. The invisible technician, who spent 2 decades silently fixing broken slot machines, has achieved the absolute impossible. He successfully orchestrated the single greatest financial heist in modern casino history and vanished into thin air. The massive Bellagio vault remains heavily guarded, but the legend of Machine Mike will haunt them forever.